May the 4th be with you. It's the Apple Bite Extra Crunchy podcast with your host, Mr. Brian Tong.
Oh, man, why you got to get all Star Wars Jedi on us like that, man?
It's Star Wars Day, baby.
I let you say it, but I refuse to say it because, come on, it's just a little played out. Oh, no, my phone just fell. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's Apple Bite Extra Crunchy. We like to go extra munchy here. This is an in-depth show that kind of complements our video podcast, our weekly show, but more extended, in-depth conversation. It's also a live stream for those who are listening after the fact. So, we kind of have the audience participate. They can sometimes chime in and help us with the show as well. But again, episode 83. This show is all about you all, so we want you to call us. How many calls did we get this week? A lot. We always get a lot.
We got like 17, and we whittled it down to like 4.
Wasn't one guy called like 10 times, though?
There was one dude that was being a total D. A big D. Or a little D.
So call us at 1-800-616-2638. That is the line. You leave your name, where you're from, and get right to it. Just what you want to talk about, any questions you have. But we like to hear your commentary and your thoughts as well. I think that kind of enhances the overall show, so it's not just myself or Beecham talking. I like to get your points of view because the show is as much as yours as it's ours. So let's just get into it. And really the leading news for this week, we were kind of ahead of the ball because that whole Echo-like Apple speaker news dropped pretty much on Friday. And so everyone started really covering it a little more earlier in this week around Monday, but that's why we have the extra crunchy. We got you, y'all. So we're going to jump into Apple's earnings. And I know it sounds boring when you first say, hey, let's talk about Apple's earnings, but I think there's always some interesting nuggets that you can pull from this. Now, the big story of their earnings obviously is around the iPhone. The last time I checked, it makes up like over 60 or 70% of their business, somewhere around that. Like about 2/3 of Apple's revenue is generated purely by the iPhone, so it's a big key. During the earnings call, Tim Cook had some fun things to say, and when asked there's kind of like a slowdown in China with iPhone sales, what's going on? Tim Cook responded with saying that Apple was seeing a pause in purchase of the iPhone, and he attributed it to earlier and much more frequent reports about future iPhones. I don't know a show that does that. Beach, do you?
Every Apple fan is watching this show right now and saying, I'm going to wait. So sorry, Tim.
They're waiting. No, I think typically there's like a stupid iPhone rumor like a week after the actual phone comes out.
Oh, yeah. The 7 came out and like literally within a month, there was some rumor about the iPhone 8. And we're like, what?
And it's so embarrassing. Guess what? We're talking about it. So he's just basically saying, look, all this hype, all these news and rumor sites. For the record, the Apple Bite has been around for I don't know how long. I think we're up to the actual video show is around 430 something episodes already.
Dude, are you at 10 years? Or when did you start here? Like 2000?
Well, I don't know. But
you're getting close.
52 weeks in a year, right?
Yeah.
So we're almost at 9 years for that show.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
9 years of rumors that have people pause their purchasing decision. So anyways, that was one of the kind of the nuggets. Tim Cook's like, come on. Like, dude, you guys are killing us. But also Tim Cook said that demand, now they kind of broke down the iPhone sales. We'll talk about the numbers in a second. But another thing that Tim Cook wanted to address in relationship to the iPhone was that demand was stronger towards the iPhone 7 Plus than Apple expected. Most analysts kind of pointed it out because they were more back ordered, right? This is the phone that has the portrait mode / bokeh super stylish DSLR effect. And I'm telling you, as long as they put that effect in the iPhone 8 or the iPhone X or the iPhone Future, because that's what we call it here, I know I've been religiously against a big screen phone that doesn't fit in my pants, but damn, and it's not because I wear children's size pants, it's just, but the thing, like Beach, like, have you seen that portrait effect? It is so good. It works like 90% of the time.
Yeah, the cameras are awesome, and the video camera is awesome too. And Vanessa Ariana did a really cool video, showcasing the camera that like really shows off the iPhone 7 Plus's camera abilities. I recommend checking that out. But yeah, I mean, everyone wants a really great camera, and if you can get it in a phone, then why not?
Yeah, one of the people in the Periscope, their name just kind of disappeared because it moves so fast. They're saying more and more people are keeping their current iPhone because of the minimal improvements, and I would agree to a certain extent. But I think everyone is just waiting for a phone more often than not. They're waiting for a new form factor. That's even if it did one more thing. Uh, when the iPhone 7 came out, it was basically the same as the 6S design. People were like, I'm good. I'll wait. You have a lot of people that have an iPhone 6 that are on a 2-year upgrade cycle. If it was hot enough, they would have upgraded, but they didn't. So this iPhone 8 is is the one. This is their 10th anniversary phone. We've heard so much about it. People keep on asking us like, "Oh, what will it be?" Like we know about the design. It's going to really try and be a full just single piece of glass curved on the edges, very similar to the Samsung Galaxy S8, which is beautiful. All these kind of diagrams and kind of early schematics are showing the camera now resting like still on the side on the back but vertically. There'll be a flash on the bottom, and then there's rumors of whether there'll be the touch ID on the back of the panel or not. But speed, design, I think the biggest thing that might feel like it's holding it back, and I really hope we see some major improvements, and I'm kind of glad that Apple is very hush hush, we haven't seen any leaks, is will iOS 11 be that much different? Like what can they do to make that compelling as well, in addition to a whole new form factor?
Yeah, how could they make it? How can they improve and make it different? I mean, we're all used to what it looks like. We've had it all for so many years now. Like I don't know what they would do. Like I can't like really conceive it, but there definitely needs to be some sort of change. And I know when that change comes, everyone's gonna freak out because change freaks people out. So we'll see what happens.
I also think, in addition to just changing it or not, you've got to, do just bring new features that actually stand out, because I was always a fan. I didn't actually there's some years where I didn't really care about the iPhone hardware more than I cared about the actual operating system, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So those are going to be key. Now, let's kind of go back a little bit and get into some of this nitty-gritty of how Apple's earnings performed. And some of these numbers, there'll be a lot of numbers that I throw out to you, but we'll kind of break it down of what's important. So for the quarter, Apple compares their earnings from a year ago, for those of people who are like, well, what does this mean? So this is the second fiscal quarter of 2017, which really represents the first calendar year quarter of 2017. But when you're talking fiscally, it's the second one. So for the quarter, Apple posted a revenue of $52.9 billion, a net quarterly profit of $11 billion. Now, that was the overall revenue was higher, as well as the overall profit was higher. So that's good, slightly. So Apple is actually outperformed from a revenue standpoint, from money making, compared to last year at the same quarter. Now, here's where things kind of get a little different. The iPhone specifically, Apple sold 50.8 million iPhones during the quarter. That's down from 51.1 million a year earlier. But then on the flip side of this, Apple's actual profit, iPhone profits, were higher. They generated more revenue for iPhones. And what was really behind that is that the overall average selling price across all models of the iPhone went up from $642 a year ago to $655.
Okay, so
So
it's a little
what is
more
that?
expensive, huh?
Yes, the phone is bumped up in price, and what can that be directly attributed to? That is really more directly attributed to the fact that the iPhone 7 Plus, which had such high demand, is also the most expensive phone. It's well more than $655. You can even, if you really maxed out it to 256 gigs of storage, the iPhone 7 Plus would be 969 US dollars.
Damn.
So when they talk about a $1,000 phone, Apple's not afraid of a $1,000 phone coming up. And I
They're
don't,
definitely not.
and everything I've heard from users, they're not afraid of the $1,000 phone either. They're like, whatever, I'll put it on a 16-month plan, or however it breaks down month by month payments. They don't care. So my phone
There
keeps on
goes your
falling.
$1,000 phone. No, just kidding. Now
Yeah, it does.
that's crazy. I mean, Apple loyalists are loyal, and they're gonna pay top dollar for the best phone that they can get. So
Yeah, isn't that kind of wild?
that is wild. Yeah.
So you have this decline in Apple units sold, but an increase in revenue from that category. Now, if we talk about some of the other results from the quarterly earnings, Mac unit sales rose slightly from four going to 4.2 million units sold this quarter compared to 4.03 million a year ago. And then the iPads, my iPads, dog, continue to decline. They dropped to 8.92 million units compared to 10.25 a year ago. That's a
Wow,
lot.
that is
So
a
that's
lot.
like another 10% drop roughly.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? This would mark the 13th quarter in a row where iPad sales have declined, meaning iPad sales have declined for over 3 straight years.
That's interesting. I wonder what could they do to fix that to get it going back up again? Like I don't understand what they could do really because I feel like
The
everyone already has an iPad, you know?
Well, that's the one thing they'll do, the one thing that they won't do, the one thing that they should do. They should change the OS so it's a more multifunctional device, right? That
Yeah,
would make it compelling. But it's like we're still getting iOS that just happens to be able to use a pencil with drawing apps. And I know there's people that use that pencil. I don't see it in the wild, quite honestly. We talked
never.
about an amazing artist, Rob Zilla, a few weeks ago, who uses the iPad for some killer NBA art. And he does it professionally, but I don't even see people using it casually. We talked about like this Marvel app yesterday where you can do adult coloring books, which is just means grown-ups coloring, not naughty coloring books. But they if they're just sitting on their butts and say, oh, we're going to put a True Tone display on the 12.9 inch, we have a new form factor, but it's still basically running the same OS. That's still not compelling.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
It's just not.
I've said this 100 times on this show, but my third generation is still fine. I don't have any reason to upgrade. It still runs
Yeah.
fine.
So
So they
you're
make
one of
them
those
too well.
one of those. They make them too good. So overall earnings, I mean, Apple's in a great position again. They're still sitting on over 250 billion dollars in cash. So you would think maybe they'd do something about that. One recently, I think it was just yesterday actually. Tim Cook was interviewed on MSNBC. He did the sit down with Jim Cramer, right, the Moneyball guy.
Oh my
Mad Money. Sorry,
god.
why did I say Moneyball? I meant Mad Money. You know what I'm talking about.
You mean that guy who
So,
was colluding behind the scenes to get stock prices to rise up and down? That guy.
oh, him. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one. Yeah.
That guy. So during his interview on CNBC's Mad Money, I'm like all mixed up. My signals are all mixed up. Tim Cook announced a new $1 billion fund to invest in United States manufacturing jobs. Now,
Boom.
Tim Cook announced that he announced this during the show. He teased that we're going to hear more about it later this month. It will be kind of in partnership with the company, but the whole premise is that they want to promote advanced manufacturing jobs in the United States. They've already chosen the company which they will invest in to do this. They won't announce it until a later date this month, according to Cook. But Cook said by investing $1 billion in this advanced manufacturing, Apple can create a ripple in the pond and promote job creation. Advanced manufacturing jobs are in high demand in the US. So Apple hopes to be a part of that. That'll make Apple honestly look really good too, just
To
that
America.
story of creating jobs
So
in America.
have they said exactly what they will be manufacturing, or is it just? I mean, it doesn't even necessarily. It couldn't be an iPhone. It could be something else. You know.
It could be parts or components for even a different something that may not be, let's say, based on cost, right? This is all going to be dictated by cost. We know that they at least assemble the iMacs in the US, right? So and Mac Pros, I believe, like they say like not only designed in California, they say like made in California for a few of their products.
Huh.
So it'll be interesting to see what pieces of the puzzle are actually going to be like manufactured here.
Yeah. You know
So
what? Look how happy Tim Cook looks to spend $1 billion. He's like, yeah, we're gonna spend $1 billion.
yeah, and that's what just 1 billion off the 250 they're sitting on, right? They
Yeah.
have more money than I think more money than is generated by several Fortune 500 companies that they're just that it's just like in a bank overseas, just hanging out there.
I wonder if they're going to implement the renewable initiative that they have in this factory, where they're going to be taking apart iPhones and using those parts to build new iPhones and new products and stuff. Eventually, they're going for a completely, no waste, all renewable production scheme, production plan. I'm wondering if
Yeah,
this is going to be part of that, because that would
it
be
could. I mean,
amazing.
yeah, it would be amazing. I mean, they've tried to really be a super green company as well with solar power that's pumped into. I think some of it's even used basically for their stores, right? They have like a solar farm, so they're doing good things in that space, and they like to promote. I think on their YouTube page they have like a bunch of how they're being environmentally conscious. So I'm 100% all for that.
Yeah.
So we have that.
Imagine their profit margins once that is 100% renewable. Imagine their profit margins will be 100%, basically, right?
Even there's even a policy where they want to melt like a lot of the parts and components of returned products from Apple. They don't want them to be kind of like reused and resold on the market. They want to just melt them down.
Yeah, just melt them and
So
reuse them.
exactly. So they can do that as well. I thought this was kind of funny. In addition to talking about $1 billion being invested for American jobs, specifically for advanced manufacturing, Tim Cook also talked about the Apple Watch, and in the interview, he said that the Apple Watch helped him lose 30 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing. Okay, let me like kind
30
of read.
pounds is not, that's a lot.
That's okay.
That's pretty good.
But I'm looking at every keynote that Tim Cook has been. He hasn't lost 30 pounds from the first keynote. Like, I'm sorry, unless like he got junk in the trunk that we don't know about, like he looks pretty similar. In fact, there was like a keynote, like I even remember some of our staff at CNET, noticed that they thought he had like a little tummy. Like they actually were like, "Oh, it looks like he's been putting on some weight or something." And I'm like, "Okay," but now it makes me laugh because he talks about this in the interview. He said he's lost 30 pounds partly to my watch. So let's ignore the diet change and maybe the professional trainer that he had to go to every day. Let's pretend that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
But he was talking about the fitness highlights and the features of the Apple Watch and how it helped him and how he also said, and this is a quote from him, "This makes a difference over time. I'm getting calls and letters from so many people where the watch has made a difference in their life. And this is why we are in business." I'm just saying, 30 pounds, I don't see that. You would notice if don't you think you would have said to yourself when you saw a keynote, like, wow, Tim Cook looks like he's lost a lot of weight?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You would definitely notice. But in their defense, they do wear the Apple uniform, which is all black, and that kind of hides things, when they're on stage. So maybe he had some junk in the trunk and it's gone now, but it's hard to say. It would be a great video though if we did that, if we like did a comparison video of his weight loss or something.
I mean, maybe he like lost 5 and then put 5 back on and then like lost 2 and put 3 on. I mean, maybe he's saying like overtime. I don't know.
Because
I'm just
30 pounds is significant, man. You would
dude,
definitely see it. You know what I
dude.
mean? That is
It's a
significant.
crap load of weight.
Maybe he was like all muscular underneath, and then he lost all the muscle. I don't know.
This is
It's a
I don't know.
tough one.
Again, I don't. I have a hard time believing that, but I'm gonna believe it because it's a direct quote. Now, during this also, the earnings when we talk about specifically the Apple Watch, they say that Apple Watch sales nearly doubled on a year-over-year basis. Apple is yet to actually again officially give us the sales data for the Apple Watch, but it does say it's wearables business, which they bundled this together: the Apple Watch, AirPods, and Beats headphones. You combine those 3 groups was the size of a Fortune 500 company.
Damn, just those
And
3 products. That's crazy.
yeah, and if you look at, I even kind of took a peek. If you look at kind of some of the Fortune 500 companies on the lower end, like let's say around 499 or 500, 501 or so, they're generating about 55.1 billion dollars. So, that's
That's impressive.
those 3 product categories alone. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. It shows the power of the Apple marketing machine, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's very impressive.
They bundled in the AirPods and that, which again, for the record, I know I pooped on them because of how they look before I even tried them. I still poop on them of how they look when I tried them, but I think they're really, really, really good. Um, they're really good earbuds, just the way that you use them. It's just really weird. Every time I see someone with them on the street, which I'm starting to see a little more here and there, it just looks bad. Like,
Yeah,
have you seen, it just still looks bad.
I have seen it. And it definitely sticks out. You're like, oh, that guy's got some on. But
Maybe
yeah,
that's
it's
part of it, right?
maybe it's just kind of like a you know like I guess not a shock factor, but just like you notice.
You do
It's like
notice.
when the iPhone first came out and everyone had the white earbuds. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you saw someone walking down the street with white, you immediately knew, like, oh, that person has an iPhone. You immediately knew it as like kind of an iconic thing. And now the AirPods are kind of doing the same thing. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, look, Diego says super ugly and dorky. And he might be right. Diego, you might be right. We'll
Double
see.
Diego says it, man. It's got to be true.
Double Diego. So Apple's AirPods, check this out. This is a survey conducted by Experian and Creative Strategies. They've done kind of customer satisfaction surveys when new products from Apple launches. Creative Strategies say the AirPods set the record for the highest level of customer satisfaction for a new product from Apple ever.
Okay, wait. So
So
this is another company doing this because I remember Apple said the iPhone had
yes,
100% customer satisfaction. Do you remember that, Brian?
yes, I do remember that.
100%.
Was it?
So
Wait, was it? They said Apple Watch did, I think, or
was it?
something ridiculous. It was
I
something
forget.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I forget. It was either the Apple Watch or the iPhone 6 or something like that. But
It was kind of like a reach. You're like, come on, man.
I know.
Like
Yeah, and you went
you're
and made a cool video, or you went and asked 100 people,
oh yeah, oh
right?
yeah. It's, you know what it
And
was?
it was
It was
close.
100 people love their iPhone, but it was, I think we had something like high 80s,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
like
high.
something like mid 80 out of 100 people said, yeah, I love my iPhone. It's like fine,
So
fine,
98% is that
satisfied.
seems doable. Yeah, that seems
That's
possible.
totally. And like I said, I think the AirPods are a really, really good product, and I think Gen 2 is going to be amazing if they do what I told them with some of my suggestions about putting, multi-touch controls on it and blah blah blah. I don't have to go through that all over again. But anyways, the so here's the survey itself. 90, what is it? Where's the breakdown of this? Okay, here we go. So in the breakdown, they polled 942 owners of AirPods. 82% said they were very satisfied, while 16% said they were just satisfied, for an overall customer satisfaction score of 98%.
Wow, that's pretty good, man. I'm looking
So
at
if
the
you're
breakdown here of the different satisfaction, portions of that. So the time it
yeah,
takes to charge the iPods was the highest. So people are stoked that you can charge them really fast.
design was at 97%, Bluetooth pairing process. See, Bluetooth pairing
Wow.
process should be 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Battery life is 95%. Comfort, come on. 95%.
I think
Clearly drinking.
everyone's already used to them because we've already had the AirPods, so or the
Secure fit in
earpods.
ears. I don't know about this. 93%. We'll
Hmm.
see.
I have yet to test that, but we will see.
I'll use mine after it has all that earwax in it, man. I'll just let you try it out.
Cool.
So, anyways, we got that. I did want to follow up with an email of the week. This comes to this. They emailed us directly at the Applebite at CNET.com. But here it goes from Kurt Irion. Hey Brian, today I witnessed the baddest of bad apples in a mall. Two friends sharing one set of AirPods, shopping around with one earbud each. Stop! Almost as bad as an iPad and a camera.
That's great. So that's gonna be like the future, like, you know, kids who are in love, like the boy who has a crush on the girl gives her one of his AirPods, and then they're sharing the music together. That's gonna be the future of relationships, I feel.
Is that what they're calling it these
I
days?
don't know. I just when you're talking about that, I just started thinking about that. Like that could be a cute thing that kids do at school now. Oh, you want to share
Oh,
your
make the next vomit inducing commercial.
iPod?
Yeah, we'll just do
Ah!
it.
They're gonna have to pay us when we see that commercial, Brian. We are gonna have to sue Apple and say, "Hey, we had that idea. You crazy."
Just play it with like Louis Armstrong's like "What a Wonderful World," like teens gazing at each other, butterflies in the air,
There you
little
go.
like solar lens, lens reflections and all that crap.
It's gonna be
So
beautiful.
that's beautiful. Also, going through this, I'm gonna skip one of the stories, but I did want to jump to the Merriam-Webster story. Beach.
Let's do some business real quick that we
What? Yeah. What's?
kind
Oh
of
yeah. You want? Oh
kind of
yeah. I
forgot
totally
about
forgot.
it a little bit. But let's do it. Go ahead.
We were supposed to read this in the middle of the show because it's called a
Well,
mid-roll.
this is the middle of the show.
This
we
is
can
actually technically
yeah,
the middle of
this
the
is the
show.
middle of the show. So do you want to start or you want me to start?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'll
Okay,
start.
go ahead.
All right, this episode is brought to you by Jamf Now. When you start your first business, it's pretty easy to keep track of your own computer and phone, but as you grow, you start to buy more tech for your employees. And guess what, y'all? It gets harder to keep track of everyone's Macs and iPhones and iPads, and you want to make sure you know what they're looking at, what they're doing with them. Now, thankfully, Jamf Now, JAMF, lets you manage your Apple devices from anywhere.
Maybe you need to secure the iPad that your sales report lost while you're in different locations. Well, Jamf Now makes that and a lot more much easier. Configure settings, protect sensitive information, even lock or wipe a device from anywhere. Jamf Now secures your stuff so you can focus on your business instead. No IT expertise needed. That's key right there. And as a special offer to our listeners, you could start securing your business today by setting up your first 3 devices for free, and you can add more for just $2 a month per device.
$2 a month?
That's not
Just
bad.
go to jamf.com/crunchy. That's jamf.com/crunchy to create a free account. Set up your 3 devices for free today. That's jamf.com/crunchy.
Let me see if I can find that URL real quick. Crunchy Jamf.
Are you gonna?
Oh, it takes you right here. Okay, yeah. When you
Go,
see
it
this
takes you right
page,
to the site,
sign
bro.
up.
Thank you, Jamf.
All right, yeah, thanks.
Do you want to keep talking to me now?
Okay, go ahead. We're done.
We're done. All right. So this is probably my favorite story of the week, kind of the goofy story of the week. Merriam-Webster uses Apple fans to define a new word that was added to their dictionary. That word, my friends, is sheeple.
It's beautiful.
That's horrible. Sheeple is now in the dictionary. So, Beecham, if you go to the link, people can also see this definition. Here is the definition according to Merriam-Webster. It's people who are docile, compliant,
Oh,
or easily influenced. People likened to sheep. Now, they also use sentences as examples, but oh my gosh, they updated the site.
did they?
Bro,
I'm trying
they
to open it.
updated the site.
It's not opening for me, so maybe they're updating it right now.
No. I'm telling you right now, lucky for me, I actually saved what they actually said in the site.
Oh, okay.
All right. So they use kind of like sentences to use as context, and this is what they used as one of them. Apple's debuted a battery case for the juice-sucking iPhone, an ungainly, lumpy case the sheeple will happily shell out $99 for.
Wow.
They used that was in there below that other sentence, or maybe they change them over time, but that was officially in there for at least the past week.
That's funny, man.
They're going in.
You know, Merriam-Webster dictionary has been trolling pretty big time on Twitter the
Seriously?
last couple of years. Yeah, they're trolling like anytime some government official says something weird, they'll like put the actual definition of the word out. So maybe they're still trolling. They're trolling Apple fans now. It's funny.
Dang. Well, it clearly got through to us. I mean, it's in our show, so they did
There
their
it
they
is.
did their job. They did a good job.
Great job, Merriam-Webster.
All right. Great job, Miriam. All right, should we get to the calls?
Let's do the calls. Okay, we got a bunch of good calls from you guys this week. Thank you very much. And here's the first one. Oh, wait, let me stop the music. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Brent in Bethlehem, PA. Love the show. Wanted to talk a little bit about iOS 11 coming out. I feel like we've had the same kind of design for a very
My
long
dearest
time.
Evelyn,
Hang on a second.
I've now seen what lies behind it.
That's
Shut
the
up.
Merriam-Webster website. Really
They
sorry
screwed up
about
our
that.
phone call.
Yeah, their autoplay, everybody. It's a
Oh,
thing.
man.
Hey guys,
about-
this is Brent in Bethlehem, PA. Love the show. Wanted to talk a little bit about iOS 11 coming out. I feel like we've had the same kind of design for a very long time. Part of me loves the way it's been forever, and another part of me kind of wants a whole redesign. Just want to know what your thoughts are on that. Love the show. Bye.
iOS 11.
I think, look, I think sometimes there's maybe a little bit of desire to want something new, but the fact is that most people like, I like when people say I want something new, I like to hear suggestions, right? Because I think that means you're more proactive about it. You're trying to say like, you know what, I don't like this, but here's an idea, instead of just saying give me something new. So I don't know if they have to really do much. Like I said earlier with iOS, I think it's more about adding more features that we actually care about and can use, maybe surprising us with a couple features. And then really, to me, the best place iOS can grow is on the iPad platform to really make it different. We'll see what type of features are going to be added specifically to this 10th anniversary iPhone, but they don't have to like completely, you know, revamp it or overhaul it. I really don't think they need to. I think what the latest look and feel of iOS has been out for a year and a half or two, maybe. I could be wrong. I mean, it all goes by in a blur now. So I'm not too worried about them having to change it. They kind of went for the flat look, but it's flattish with gradients and kind of different tones. I do, in a weird way, although it may not feel as warm, I do like pure Google Android's like really clean flatness, but it just wouldn't match on an Apple device. So, we want the rounded corners, you're gonna get the rounded corners. You want the rounded like corner app tiles, you're gonna get that type of stuff. I think it's fine. It's They don't really need to do too much for it for me. I'm Just give me more features.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of drop shadows. Maybe some drop shadows. No, I'm just kidding.
A little droppy drop.
Okay, next call.
Brian, my name is Adam. Love your show. Wanted to see if you could do some kind of review, if you haven't already, on the Apple TV 4. Don't like that when I'm watching TV on the couch and watching your videos or some of the others. On the Apple TV version 4, I cannot like or subscribe to anything. I have to use my iPad or iPhone to do so, and I don't always. So if you could ask Apple to, in the version 5, allow us to do that again as we used to with version 3. Thanks a bunch. Love your show. Thanks.
Man, if he's doing what I think I'm doing and watching us through YouTube, it must through the Apple TV. That sounds more like a YouTube app issue more than anything else. But if I'm mistaken, I'm still happy that he just wants to watch our videos to like them and subscribe to them.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, YouTube is when they do redesigns, they kind of break a lot of stuff.
You know about that more than anyone else.
Yeah, I help manage the CNET YouTube channel, and it's a nightmare because they change stuff and then it breaks a lot of stuff in the background. And a lot of times when they do an update, it'll break things like that go other places like Apple TV and Roku or whatever. And also YouTube, like if someone shares a video on YouTube, there still isn't a button that says watch in the YouTube app, like every other app that we have. Like they don't care. You know what I mean? So, I'm sorry that you're having that issue, but you're probably just going to have to wait till someone at YouTube figures that out and then fixes it.
I feel it's weird because the way that YouTube approaches it is they know they have this massive audience, but I feel like they act like they're always in beta. Like the way that they handle features rolling out. Let's try this. Oh, wait, we're actually not going to do this. What we told you, we're going to do whatever, like playlist channels, blah, blah, blah. Like it constantly changes and their algorithm changes as well. And now for people that don't know, I mean, they've talked a lot about how the way that advertisers and how YouTube content creators are getting paid has also changed as well. So it's constantly in flux.
Demonetization is a big issue now for everybody on YouTube who does gaming. Like if you have a video game, if you put a video up on YouTube where someone's like cutting someone's head off or shooting someone, they're going to demonetize that video now. Like CNET actually had a video demonetized because we did a video about the iPad bomb plot that happened recently. How there was like the
people taking it on flights.
Yeah. They barred people from taking iPads on flights because they were afraid that you could put a bomb in it. Well, YouTube demonetized that video because they felt that it was it was part of that group of things that was promoting violence, or not promoting violence, but just was talking about violence, or bombs on airplanes and stuff. So they demonetized that, and they're kind of doing that with a lot of stuff. So yeah, I mean, they're constantly changing, and it's hard to keep up. Even they're going to change the whole look of YouTube right now. Like everything is going to change in the next couple weeks. So I'm just going to give everyone a warning about that. But yeah, so that's my take on that. Okay, next call.
Hey, what's up? This is Andrew in DC. I'm currently using a 2011 MacBook Pro and really excited that Apple's making all those productivity apps like Pages and Numbers free. But Apple is making it so you have to upgrade to your latest software. Do y'all think I should upgrade, or do you think the newest Mac OS Sierra would crash my computer? Let me know what y'all think, and love the podcast, guys. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks for calling, man. So we did still a little homework ish just to see, because I know it's not going to crash your computer. But you can actually go to Apple's website or even just type in like Mac OS Sierra hardware requirements. There's this crazy tool I found on the internet called Google. Help me do that. So I'm just messing with you. So the Mac hardware requirements, it does support your MacBook Pro. Any MacBook Pro that's a mid 2010 or newer can run Mac OS Sierra. But there's also some people write how Mac OS Sierra or Mac OS Sierra. See, we all start talking like that. He even talked like Mac OS Sierra. Macos. Some people have complained maybe it might be a little laggy, not buggy per se, but just might be a little slower, not as snappy. But again, I'm not in your exact situation. I don't think there's a problem where it's not compatible. It's going to completely destroy your machine. And, quite honestly, with the apps that you're trying to run, if you're running Pages or Keynote is honestly more intensive than Pages, but they're not the most, graphics intensive apps. You're not talking about Photoshop or, dear Lord, if you use Final Cut Pro or anything like that. So I think that you'd be all right, honestly. But again, I can't 100% say because I don't have I think my parents have a 2011 one actually, quite honestly.
Yeah, I would be careful though, because
so I should check that out.
Third-party apps might not work in the new version. Like I updated my work computer to Mac OS Sierra recently, and then like this Facilis software that we all use to like share files stopped working, and we had to go do a bunch of work to get it to work. So there might be some third-party stuff that doesn't work for you after that, but overall it's pretty cool. But it will like default and put all this stuff in your in the dock below, so then you have to like go and remove a bunch of crap, which is annoying. But that's my only gripe, really.
The other thing is also the size of the actual operating system has been compressed down and optimized so much over time. So it's actually going to it's going to free up storage space on your hard drive, which I think is always a good thing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's always been kind of one of the pluses of upgrading your operating system. So yeah, there you go.
It takes like 30 minutes or so. It's kind of a long.
Or longer, depending on the speed of your machine.
Yeah. But whatever. Cool. I think that's it, BT.
Is that it?
I think we've handled everything we needed to handle.
All right, we're gonna roll out. So thanks again to jamf.com. Again, that's jamf.com/crunchy to set up your 3 devices if you're a company that's growing, to keep track of your computer and phone. We're gonna be out of here. We will be back next week. Same bad channel, same bad time, I think.
Oh yeah, here, let me put the phone number up.
Okay, call us 1-800-616-2638 to see Apple Bite Extra Crunchy. You know how we do it, nice and munchy. We'll see you later. Beecham, are you gonna say bye to everybody?
Bye everyone. May the 4th be with you.
Stop that. So disturbing.
Enjoy your day, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.